Hi, my name is Jacqui-Lee Pryce and welcome to Shadowboxing. We pride ourselves on showcasing some of the best up-and-coming boxers. So I'm really pleased to announce that today's guest is none other than Amy Timlin. How you doing, Amy?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good. So, Missy, with your Shady fight name,
Yep.
the real
Well,
the real baby-faced assassin, Shady. Where did it come from?
I was originally the babyface assassin, but obviously Shannon Courtney has that. So I put the real in front of it because it makes sense. I mean, I look about 14, so, and plus I have an aggressive style to me, so it does make sense for my name. But it was nothing personal, like nothing against anyone. It was just there, and yeah. And now it brings, to be fair, it's getting a lot of mentions because everyone mentions it all the time, and they're always like, "Oh, is there something going on there?" And I'm like, "Well, no, but it's gonna sell tickets because it's like the name itself is gonna put people on seats and stuff like that." So yeah, it's a good name, I think.
No, it is. And to be fair, you have got a little baby face, but you say you look like you're 14, but how old are you?
I'm 20, believe it or not. So I don't look it, but I'm 20.
Fantastic. So before we talk about your boxing career, let's take it back to when you were younger. You used to be a kickboxer, didn't you? And you did pretty well, didn't you? Do you want to tell me about
Yeah.
that?
I started when I was 5, just for confidence because I used to suffer with anxiety. So I done it when I was 5, and then my stepdad took my brothers, and I stuck at it, but they gave up. So my my stepdad didn't think I would stick to it. He thought I'd give up, and it would be them that stuck to it. But now I'm the one who's literally boxing mad. I'm crazy for the sport. So it didn't turn out the way he planned, but it's definitely planned out well for me, without a doubt.
So, like you say, he's probably quite surprised that the girl of the family stuck at it. Do they watch boxing still, your brothers? Are they, do they like watching it, or are they involved at all?
Yeah, they watch it, like they watch all the big fights, but they don't do it himself. My older brother, he's a footballer. Well, he used to do football as well, so he's done. He didn't stick to he didn't do boxing, but he he's still done a sport, and he done quite well in football. So we have quite. It's not just me who's an athlete or anything like that. So yeah, I think sports just run in the family, and then I'm just the crazy one who does boxing for some strange reason. I just do the most dangerous sport out of the lot.
We're all crazy. We're all crazy in this sport. But do you
Yeah.
sometimes go up to your brothers, the ones that used to do kickboxing, and say, you're a quitter?
No, I mean, you like to torment your siblings, but I've never went up to them and said that. I have thought about it. I don't really need to speak much because I'd probably knock them out. They know that. So if they're watching this, they know.
Fair play. Fair play. I'm only kidding, boys, anyway. So you won, I understand, world championships as a kickboxer. Am I correct in
Yeah.
thinking that?
Yeah. I won a kickboxing world title, and then that's when I transitioned to boxing after that because there's so far you can go in kickboxing, and once you hit a certain level, you don't go nowhere else. So I had almost 200 fights, so it was, that's what I mean. Like I had a lot of experience in it. So by the end of it, there was hardly anyone out there for me to fight. So that's why I switched over to the amateurs.
Hold on. You had at the age of, so you turned over into the amateurs when? What age were you?
I was 16.
So I'm actually gobsmacked that you've had 200 fights, to be fair. So hats off to you for that, firstly, because I have seen on social media, you know, when you're little and you've got all of those belts and the weighing you down, they seem heavier than you are. That's absolutely fantastic. So talk to me then about turning over into the amateur, if you want to call it turning over, into boxing, into the amateur scene. You go in at high level, don't you?
Yeah. I went over. It actually started off. I went to an England camp, like from the start, and I didn't know that I was actually there for the trials for the Worlds. So I went in there thinking it was just a normal spar, and I was going to get some sparring out. And then a few weeks later, I got a phone call saying that I got selected for the World Championships on my second fight, and I was like, oh, I didn't know anyone there. No one knew me, so it was shocking, to be fair. Like, I didn't even expect to go there to fight in the Worlds, but then I also got told that I was doing a France versus England like duel thing. So it was mental because I went in there just for sparring and came out for something about me going to the Worlds. So it was shocking. I mean, it was a great experience as well. But I don't think you can find many people going to the Amateur World Championships on 2 fights.
Absolutely. And I tell you, the most interesting thing about that is, you know, I come from kickboxing. So I did kickboxing and then transferred into boxing. It's not easy to make that transition technically. So for you to have made that transition quite quickly and then be offered up, you know, onto that platform, the England platform, how fantastic is that? What was that experience like?
It was amazing. Like, but even when I was in kickboxing, I was always more of a boxer. Like, when I was fighting and that, I used to box my way through the fights, and I used to actually get told that I need to start kicking more. That would The ref used to tell me, and everyone used to say, you aren't going to win fights because you're just boxing your way through them. And I was like, he's better because boxing suits more my style. Like, I've always been more of an aggressive, sit down on my shots type of fighter. So that's why I went to the amateurs. And on my first amateur fight, I fought a national champion. So it, I definitely went up there very fast. I didn't have the easy route in the amateurs. Got pushed into the deep end straight away.
No, that's brilliant. And then, having said that, you're saying about you sit down on your shots, etc. Did you find that it frustrating in terms of, so you're boxing more like a pro, and then all of a sudden they're asking you to box like an amateur? Did you find that frustrating?
Yeah, I did because I'm I'm coming forward, aggressive, sit down fighter. So in the amateurs, they're more like points fighting, just get your shots out, get out. And I was never like that. I used to like to walk my opponent down, and I used to sink them body shots in and stuff. But as an amateur, even if you get the better shots off, if you're not putting enough punches in there like an amateur would, then you're not going to win because they go for more points, and it's on more of a point scoring thing than the amateurs. So even if you're beating your opponent and it's obvious you're hitting them with the harder shots, you're not going to get the decision, which is why I turned over pro because it suits my style a lot more.
Yeah, because I was going to say it's quite a young age to turn over pro. But then, having said that, for somebody that's had 200 fights before they even stepped into the amateurs, I think that, you know, you're quite within your rights to turn over pro, to be honest with you. Quite within your
Yeah,
rights.
yeah, I think so.
So I love your style. I mean, you can box, kiddo. I've been watching you on social media. You are a legitimate talent. You're a legitimate talent. And I say that I've been around boxing for, God, a long time, over 20 years. You're a legitimate talent. Fast hands, you can mix it up really well. Very, very confident in the ring as well. Very, very confident in the ring. And then you talked about those body shots. Nice.
I
Delicious.
love body shots. They're
Yeah.
literally my favourite.
Yeah, you can see. What is great though as well, and proves you're a legitimate talent, you've been sparring with a couple of pros, haven't you?
Yeah, I've Natasha Jonas and Terry Harper, and then I also had the opportunity to spar Chantelle Cameron last year, so I've had some very good sparring. I couldn't get any better than them three. They're like the best sparring I could possibly get. So to even step in the ring with them, it was a massive opportunity, and I gained a lot of experience. Like I sparred Tash a bit, like quite a lot, and she's so helpful. Like even when I spar her, she encourages me. So like if she sees I'm getting tired, she'll be like, "Come on, keep going, keep going." And I like that because I look up to her. So even I look up to Tash. So to have her encouraging me to keep going, it's great experience, and I couldn't ask for better sparring.
What's great about that as well, Amy, is they'll see the talent and they're, you know, you're the next generation. So that's a beautiful moment where you two groups of, I won't call them oldies, the more experienced ladies can pass on their knowledge to the youngsters coming up. So that's brilliant. So
Yeah.
what is this about the whole bantamweight Twitter beef that's been going on?
It started a few months ago, and I didn't know what happened, to be honest. Like, I clicked onto Twitter one day, and next thing you know, it was like Battle of the Bantamweights. I know it sounds proper strange, but it's like they all came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't know hardly any of them. And then next thing you know, I was getting called out by about 3 girls. So I was like, I'm a quiet person. Like, I don't shout my mouth on Twitter or anything like that. So when I was getting all these comments coming back, I was thinking, what is this all about? And I clicked onto it, but I'm quiet anyway, so I don't fight fire with fire. So even though they were saying that, I was just like, okay, if you want to fight me, I'll do that, but I'm not going to shout my mouth and start causing trouble on Twitter, because that's not what I'm like. I'm quiet. I do my talking in the ring. So when all this was happening, I was well confused, and I remember, you know, Ebony Bridges, um, she was backing me up. So then me and Ebony was against all these other bantamweights, and yeah, it just kicked off. I don't know what happened though. Just all happened so sudden.
I suspect people realise that you are up and coming, and so if they are attached to your name, perhaps, you know, it makes for good coverage on social media, doesn't it? So I don't think they
Yeah.
probably mean it in a bad way. It's just like they're trying to probably
No.
hook onto your journey.
Yeah, I took it as a compliment anyway, because to even get my name mentioned, it shows that I'm getting my name put out there more. So I took it as a compliment, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about your new management, David Caldwell. So how did he sort of come into your life?
It happened a few months ago during lockdown. Him and my coach Kieran Farrell, they were having a FaceTime call, and they got speaking on that. And then Dave was on about he wanted to join the team and stuff like that. So he was interested in taking me on, and between him and Kieran, it got discussed, and then yeah, and then he managed me, and now I'm under his management. So that's kind of how it came about, and yeah, with them two, doors are going to open for me.
Yeah, most definitely. He's got some good youngsters coming up. Hopi Price is on your team as well, isn't he?
Um, Hopi is one of Dave's actual fighters. So like I'm just managed to Dave, but he's coached by him as well.
Yeah. Some great talent though he's picked. He's got a good eye. So in terms of that though, you are getting a lot of coverage. People are starting to talk about you. Are you finding it a little bit daunting that all of a sudden the spotlight's on you? Or to me, you seem quite confident and able to handle it. But how is it?
Um, it can be a bit overwhelming, because I never used to get a lot of messages, but now like I'm getting loads of messages day in day out, and yeah, and I'm always getting asked for interviews and stuff like that, so I'm not used to it. So when I've got people asking me for like 5 interviews a day, I'm like, wow, I'm not used to this. So it was, at first it was a bit it was a bit overwhelming, but now I'm used to it and I've got better with it over time.
No, that's good. So let's talk about October the 2nd. You are going to be boxing for the vacant Commonwealth Super Bantamweight title against Carly Skelly. Wow. It's not bad, is it? After 4 bouts?
No, especially for a 20-year-old as well, to even be able to fight for a Commonwealth title, that's a massive opportunity that not a lot of people get. So, yeah, I'm really honoured for that.
So how's the training been going?
It's been going great. Like, even throughout lockdown, I was training and I was staying ready. So when I got the call, I was like, I'm already ready. So, but then we've picked up our training a few weeks ago. So now we're training hard and we've been having a good fight camp. And my coach, Kieran, we've got a good game plan to go into the fight. And yeah, it's going great. Everything's going great.
Are you the type of person that studies an opponent or studies other female boxers?
Yeah, I always study an opponent. Like, it's good to know what they're about and how you're going to beat them, because you need like a good game plan to fight against their strengths and their weaknesses. So I look at them and I'm not just watching the fight, I'm studying off it. So even when I watch anyone's fight, I'm never just watching it. I like to study and pick things up, and that's what I've been doing my opponent. So wherever she goes wrong, I know where to counter, and I know what she does right and what she does wrong. So yeah, it's good to study your opponent.
Nice answer. So on that note, I'm guessing that you watched the Katie Taylor Pursoon fight, number 2. What were your thoughts on the fight? Who won and why? I mean, we know who won, but who did you think won and why?
I thought Pursoon won again, but everyone has the different opinions. They look at the fight differently, but I thought her tempo and her work rate was just too much for Katie, and I thought it was the first time as well. Like, but I thought she won. I thought she won better this time. Like, I thought she won more convincingly than what she did the first time. But that's just my opinion. People have different ways of looking at it. But yeah, it was a great fight for women's boxing as well. Both of them, they're class boxers, and I look up to Katie, so can't take nothing away from her because she's put women's boxing on the map completely.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I've ever met anybody that doesn't like Katie Taylor, male or female.
No.
I'm going to be honest. I'm a massive fan as well. And I saw the fight between Tasha Jonas and her in the amateurs, and it was just, the atmosphere was electric. It was just such a wonderful moment for women's boxing. In terms of what's happening now, you've kind of come around at the right time, haven't you?
Yeah, especially with women's boxing, it's booming at the minute. So I'm in the sport at the right time. Like, everyone's mentioning women's boxing now, so I'm definitely here at the right time. It's a good time to be a woman in the sport.
You must be so excited for the future.
Yeah, I am.
It's absolutely brilliant to talk to such a knowledgeable, confident young lady. I suspect you're going to do great things in this sport. I really do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for interviewing me.
If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxer UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.